Hello my friend, in this video I am counting down the top 10 best rugged smartphones under $200. Make sure to watch to the end so you don't miss any of these phones. Believe it or not, there's actually 2 night vision phones in this video. All the phones in this video are shockproof, drop-proof, dust-proof, and IP68, IP69K waterproof for 30 minutes up to 1.5 meters underwater. And all but one of them are military standard 810G or higher, so you can count on their durability. Check the links in the description to get the most current prices, learn more info, or to purchase one. Now, let's get straight into this video. First up at number 10, we've got the ULEFONE Armor X6 Pro. This is the cheapest, lightest, and smallest phone in this video. This phone costs $126 on Amazon, $120 on AliExpress, and $120 if you buy it straight from ULEFONE's website. Weighing just 227 grams, this was actually the first rugged phone with Android 12 in ULEFONE's Armor X series. It's got a 5-inch HD IPS screen with 720 by 1280 resolution. It's rated military standard 810G and it's drop proof from 1.2 meters or 4 feet. So why is it so cheap? Well, for starters, it has a 4000 mAh battery that will only give you 13 hours of calling or 430 hours of standby, which is the lowest runtime in this whole video. Now, the rear camera is only 13 megapixels and the front camera is only 5 megapixels, so this probably isn't the phone for you if you want some super high quality photos. Now, here is the worst thing about this phone. It only has 4 gigabytes of RAM and 32 gigabytes of internal storage, and it uses a quad-core MediaTek Helio A22, which is the worst processor in this whole video. But the internal storage can be expanded up to 128 gigabytes, so that lessens the blow a little bit. Still, all in all, this is not a bad phone for only $120, and it even includes NFC and a 3.5mm headphone jack. Next up at number 9, we've got the BLACKVIEW OSCAL S60 Pro Night Vision Rugged Phone. If you are looking for a budget rugged phone with night vision that also has internal storage that is expandable up to 1 terabyte, then this right here is the phone for you. It costs $126 on AliExpress or $159 on BLACKVIEW's website. It's got a 5.7-inch HD Plus IPS screen with 720 by 1440 resolution. This phone is drop-proof from 1.5 meters or 4.9 feet, and it is rated military standard 810H for even more ruggedness. It runs BLACKVIEW's own DOOGEE OS 2.1 based on Android 11. It's got a 13 megapixel main camera plus an 8 megapixel infrared night vision camera on the back, and it's got an 8 megapixel camera on the front. Its 5580 mAh battery gives you 24 hours of talk time or 288 hours of standby. It does include NFC and it does have a 3.5mm headphone jack. Now, even though its storage is expandable up to 1 terabyte, it only comes with 32 gigabytes of internal storage and 4 gigabytes of RAM. It does not have a fingerprint scanner and it runs an octa-core MediaTek Helio A25, which is the second worst processor in this whole video. Keep watching because coming up is another even better rugged night vision phone that's under $200. But first, at number 8, it's the ULEFONE PowerArmor 14. The PowerArmor 14 has the biggest battery in this entire video, and its internal storage is also expandable up to 1 terabyte. With a resolution of 720 by 1600, this phone's 6.52-inch HD IPS TFT screen is the second biggest screen in this whole video, and this is the only other phone in this video that is expandable up to 1 terabyte internal storage. It is drop-proof up to 1.2 meters or 4 feet, and it is rated military standard 810G. Now, its 10,000 mAh battery gives you over 2 days or 54 hours call time, which is the longest call time in this whole video. It also gives you 22 days or 540 hours in standby. It comes with 64 gigabytes of internal storage and it is expandable up to 1 terabyte. It has a pretty nice 20 megapixel camera plus a 2 megapixel macro camera and a depth sensor on the back and a 16 megapixel selfie camera on the front. Now, its octa-core MediaTek Helio G35 is not overly impressive. It only has 4 gigabytes of RAM, it weighs 358 grams, and it measures 175.6 millimeters by 82.5 millimeters with a thickness of 17.2 millimeters, making it the heaviest, largest, and thickest phone in this whole video. The Power Armor 14 costs $175 on AliExpress, and it even includes 18-watt fast charging and 15-watt wireless charging. Next, at number 7 is the other night vision phone in this video, the DOOGEE S86 Pro. With its military standard 810H rating, this phone boasts that it can withstand 24 hours of immersion in concrete. It has a 6-inch HD Plus IPS screen with Corning Gorilla Glass and a resolution of 720 by 1440, and it is drop proof from 1.5 meters or 4.9 feet. It also has a pretty cool transparent back cover, which allows you to see what looks like the circuit board underneath. But don't worry, the circuit board you are seeing is just for show. The real circuit board is underneath, so it's not going to be damaged by the sun that comes through the transparent back cover. Now, like the last phone, the S61 Pro also has an octa-core Helio G35, but this one has 6 gigabytes of RAM, and its internal storage of 64 gigabytes is expandable up to 512 gigabytes. It has a 5180 mAh battery, a dual 48 megapixel main camera, plus a 20 megapixel night vision camera on the back, but only an 8 megapixel selfie camera on the front. Now, it does not have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, but it does have a fingerprint scanner. The S61 Pro costs $220 on Amazon, but just $140 on AliExpress. Now keep watching, because coming up we have got the biggest screen, the highest camera quality, and even 2 phones with infrared thermometers. But first, at number 6, we've got the OUKITEL F150B 2021. Now this phone can actually survive 24 hours under 1 meter or 3.2 feet of water, and that is impressive. It costs $180 on Amazon and just $130 on AliExpress. Its 5.86-inch HD Plus screen includes Corning Gorilla Glass, and it runs at a 720 by 1520 resolution. It is rated military standard 810H for super durability, and it is drop proof from 1.5 meters or 4.9 feet onto concrete. Its 8,000 mAh battery gives you 40 hours of call time, and the longest standby time in this whole video. It's got a whopping 37 days or 900 hours in standby. It has quad AI cameras with a 13 megapixel main camera and an 8 megapixel front camera, and it does include a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. It runs the older Android 10 operating system. Its octa-core MediaTek G25 CPU is a little disappointing, but it does have 6 gigabytes of RAM, and its 64 gigabytes of internal storage can be expanded up to 256 gigabytes. Now these next 2 phones include an infrared thermometer. Number 5 is the UMIDIGI BISON X10 Pro. At 6.53 inches, the BISON X10 Pro's HD Plus 1600 by 720 resolution screen is the biggest screen in this whole video. Not only that, but it actually includes an infrared thermometer. To use the thermometer, just point the sensor at someone's forehead or at any hot surface. Now, although the infrared thermometer is not quite as accurate as a real medical device, its temperature readings are actually very close to the medical device readings. This phone costs $190 on Amazon or the UMIDIGI website, and you can get it for as low as $130 on AliExpress. It is rated military standard 810G, and it is drop proof from 1.2 meters or 4 feet. Now the BISON X10 Pro runs Android 11, and although it only has 4 gigabytes of RAM, its octa-core Helio P60 is the second best processor in this whole video. Its 64 gigabytes of internal storage can be upgraded to 128 gigabytes if you buy the slightly more expensive Storm Gray model. With a 6,150 mAh battery, it can give you over 2 days or 52 hours of call time and 22 days or 550 hours of standby. It's got a triple camera on the back with a 20 megapixel AI main camera, plus an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera and a 5 megapixel macro camera, and it's got an 8 megapixel selfie camera on the front. Now it weighs 285 grams, and its 12.9 millimeter thickness makes it tied with our #1 pick for the thinnest phones in this whole video. Now it does include a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, a fingerprint scanner, and it has 10-watt fast charging. Now, if you like that phone but you need more RAM on your infrared forehead thermometer rugged phone, then this next one is for you. Number 4, we've got the DOOGEE S86 Pro. Now, this phone costs $170 on AliExpress, and in addition to its forehead thermometer, it also has super loud 100 decibel speakers. With 8 GB of RAM, its 128 GB of internal storage can be expanded up to 256 GB, and it runs Android 10 on its octa-core MediaTek Helio P60. Its 6.1-inch Gorilla Glass HD Plus IPS screen runs at 720 by 1560 resolution, and it is military standard 810G. Let's talk about the battery. The S86 Pro's 8,500 mAh battery gives you 47 hours of call time and up to 27 days or 648 hours in standby. It's got a triple 16 megapixel AI main camera, 8 megapixel wide angle camera, and 2 megapixel portrait camera on the back, and an 8 megapixel AI camera on the front. It weighs 323 grams with dimensions of 164.6 by 81.2 millimeters, and it is 16.8 millimeters thick. It does not include a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, but it does have a fingerprint scanner, and its 24 watt fast charge gives you a full charge in just 3 hours. Now keep watching, because coming up is the phone with the highest quality camera, most internal storage, and best CPU. Coming in at number 3 is the CUBOT KINGKONG 7. The KINGKONG 7 has the highest camera quality in this whole video, with its triple 64 megapixel main camera, 16 megapixel wide angle camera, and 5 megapixel macro camera on the back, and it's got an impressive 32 megapixel selfie camera on the front. The KINGKONG 7 costs $209 on Amazon, $189 from CUBOT's website, and just $180 on AliExpress. Its 6.36-inch FHD Plus IPS screen runs at 1080 by 2300 resolution, making it the second highest resolution in this whole video. Now, this phone is not military standard 810G, but it is IP68, IP69K waterproof for 30 minutes up to 1.5 meters or 4.9 feet underwater, and it is drop proof from 1.5 meters or 4.9 feet. Its octa-core MediaTek P60 is the second best processor in this whole video. It has 8 GB of RAM, and its 128 GB internal storage can be expanded up to 256 GB. It runs Android 11, and it has a 5,000 mAh battery. Next up at number 2, we have got the ULEFONE Armor 8 Pro. Priced at $240 on Amazon, $220 on ULEFONE's website, and just $180 on AliExpress, this phone's 6.1-inch HD Plus IPS display runs at 1560 by 720 resolution. Now, it is military standard 810G, and it is drop proof from 1.2 meters or 4 feet. It runs Android 11 and also has an octa-core MediaTek Helio P60 processor, which is the second best processor in this video. It comes with 6 GB of RAM, but you can get 8 GB of RAM if you buy the large memory model, and its 128 GB of internal storage is expandable up to 256 GB. Its 5,580 mAh battery gives you 16 hours of call time and 23 days or 570 hours of standby. It has a triple camera on the back with a 16 megapixel main camera, 5 megapixel sub camera, and 2 megapixel depth sensor, and it's got an 8 megapixel selfie camera on the front. This phone does include a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, a fingerprint scanner, and it also has 15 watt fast charging. Now, before I reveal the number 1 best rugged smartphone under $200, make sure to smash that subscribe button if you have gotten value from this video. I've got tons more great rugged smartphone videos coming up that you definitely don't want to miss. Now, here is the number 1 pick. It's the UMIDIGI BISON 2. The BISON 2 costs $180 on AliExpress, and its massive 6.5-inch FHD Plus screen runs at 2400 by 1080 resolution, making it the highest resolution in this whole video. It is also military standard 810G and drop proof from 1.2 meters or 4 feet. It's got 6 GB of RAM, and its 128 GB of internal storage is expandable up to 512 GB. It runs Android 12 on its octa-core Helio P90, which is the best processor in this video, and it's got a 6,150 mAh battery. It also has one of the best camera qualities in this video with its triple AI 48 megapixel main camera, 16 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, and 5 megapixel macro camera, and it's got a nice 24 megapixel front camera. It is also tied with the BISON X10 Pro for the thinnest phone in this video, measuring just 12.9 millimeters thick. It does include a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, a fingerprint scanner, and it does support 18-watt fast charging. So, what do you think? Let me know in the comments. And then check out this playlist of my best rugged smartphone videos, and I will see you in the next video.